Hi, you guys. So, my name is Ann Hagenbarth, and I live in Spirit Lake, Idaho, which is in North Idaho, and I am 37 years old. I have three kids. They are 10, 11, and 17 months. So, as you may have noticed, we have quite the gap from our first two to our baby, and that is because of essential oils. I always swore that I would never have another kid if I could not work from home. My husband was in the construction business when everything went crazy with the economy, and so he lost his job. And in that time, I had just finished my degree, so I went to work. And I had always wanted more kids, but I just wanted to be home with them. I was at home with my older kids until they were in kindergarten. So when I started with essential oils, I was able within a year to quit my job, and I actually got pregnant right away because I just knew. I was like, oh man, I'm going to be able to stay home again. So we had our baby in the same first year of me doing essential oils, and he has been super awesome. But in that process of having him, I have gone through about a year of postpartum depression. And so I wanted to take some time and talk with you guys today about how you successfully run your business when you're struggling with depression. Because I know that it's a real thing. It's extremely real to me in my life. It's only been about a month now that I've been feeling so much better. But I have not just struggled with depression for this time, like the first time in my life. It really runs in my family. My dad has always struggled with depression. When I was a little girl, I remember him kind of doing what I do, just like crawling in bed and being sad. And my mother's side of the family, my aunts and uncles also suffer from definitely chemical imbalance and severe depression. So it's something that I've struggled with my whole life. And I just wanted to take some time to show you guys what I do in my business during a time of depression for me. So the number one thing that I have done, even when I'm in my deepest, darkest day, is I show up. So what that means to me is no matter how sad I am, I might be laying in my bed, bawling my head off with the blankets over my head, but okay, I need to do a Facebook post. So I might go outside and find a beautiful sunflower, take a picture of the flower, or I might make something with my oils, like make a roller and take a picture of that and post that, or whatever I'm making for dinner, make a post or share a recipe. This is my brand. These are the things that make sense to me. So you need to post something that makes sense to you. If you're not into gardening, you posting a sunflower doesn't make sense. If you're not into normally posting recipes, that does not make sense for you, then I would not do that. You need to figure out what works for you and what makes sense to your followers, and then do it every day, one post a day. That should be a non-negotiable. I'm not talking about posting depressing things, because honestly, people do not want to see that. But it is important for you to post some things and be authentic. So I have had a couple of posts in my on my Facebook timeline that have shared what I'm really going through, because I think that it is important to share our struggles, but not in a way that is causing drama or being dramatic. So I have notes because this is kind of like, I want to make sure I hit everything. If you're being authentic and sharing your struggles, the chances are there's more people out there struggling just like you, but they're not talking about it either. So if none of us are talking about it, everyone thinks that everyone is perfect and we're all just hiding under our beds, right? So it's a vicious cycle, this Facebook social media thing of everybody posting their perfect lives. And so this is a wonderful time for you to relate to others and have them say, oh my gosh, I feel the same way. I'm so glad you said it, because I've been struggling and I haven't wanted to share. So if one person shares first, then other people can also share their struggles. And then we break this cycle of like the perfect life because none of us have it. I mean, I am constantly posting about like my struggles with weight loss because I have other friends that are struggling with that too, but they think that they can't talk about it. So it's just really important. There needs to be a balance, like of not post. I definitely tend to post more positive things than my struggles. I think that that's really important too. If I'm posting my struggles every single day, people are not going to want to see that. But if I post 5 positive things and 1 struggle, I think that that is authentic. Like, oh my gosh, I just made this dinner. It took me 10 hours to make it and it's disgusting. That's a good post of being authentic because we don't always have a beautiful, amazing dinner. Okay, so it's really important to post authentic posts, but you don't want to be dramatic. So make a list of things you're thankful for. This is just an example of a Facebook post that you can do when you are struggling. You can say, guys, you know what? I'm struggling. I'm having a hard day even getting out of bed, but I wanted to take a second and just think about things I'm thankful for, and this is them. And then challenge your friends to also do the same kind of post. So say like, I'm thankful for these 3 things. Even when I'm struggling, these 3 things are constant in my life. What 3 things are you thankful for today? So that engages them and has them comment, and they're going to be appreciative that you shared that you're struggling. Something else that I have struggled with is my marriage. In the last couple years, it's been really hard with a baby. And I remember, I think it was last summer, I posted about that. I said, you know what, guys, marriage is really hard when you have a baby. And I am going to do a husband challenge. And I invited friends to do a husband project with me. And we spent 30 days doing like secret things for our husbands and sharing about that. And it took a bad situation and made it fun and relatable because we're all struggling with our marriages. No one is having a perfect marriage 100% of the time. So that was really good because it took my struggle, but it also showed that I was willing to work on it. I'm not the kind of person that just sits and complains. I want to work on this. Okay. So that is a really good way to still do your work while you are struggling with depression. Something else that you need to do is focus on gratitude. You need to wake up every single day and think about something you're thankful for. Maybe you're in your head, you can't get past the feeling of sadness. And I will be honest with you that this last year I have struggled with why am I alive? I've struggled with maybe I should not even be here anymore. And I have struggled with wanting to run away to the mountains. I have wanted to literally fill up my car and just drive away from my family. That is me being really honest with you. And in order for me to function during the day, I had to start a gratitude journal. I actually had a friend send me a beautiful journal that was all about gratitude. And so at first, maybe you can't think of 10 things to do a day, 10 things you're thankful for. Start with 1. What are you thankful for this morning? I am thankful that my coffee tasted delicious. That's the only thing I can think of. There's nothing else. I'm thankful that the sun is here. So as time goes on, you can add more things to your list. Today, I just wrote down 10 things today because I'm at a point where I'm able to think of 10 things. So I'm thankful that my coffee was delicious. My electricity turned on this morning. That's a plus. I'm very happy that I have running water. I have dinner in my crock pot. We're going to have spaghetti. I have a healthy family. We've been very blessed in that way. My husband takes out the trash for me. Hasn't always been the case. So now that he does, it is so awesome. My sunflowers do look very pretty outside in my garden. I can freely own 10 Bibles or 1,000 Bibles in my home, and I'm not going to get persecuted. There's people that are not allowed to do that. I am able to work from home. That has been my hugest blessing. Like the one thing that I've always wanted was to be able to work at home again. And I don't appreciate it like I should. It's ridiculous. I'm also thankful that I am involved in an awesome church family. So those are my 10 things for the day. If you're in, I want you to think those, we can think of 10 things. You have to get out of your head. That's a huge part of it. You can become an encourager. So I know that when I am depressed, something that helps me is to try to encourage other people. And the Middleman Master Plan is an awesome way to do that. I know that our church has like a directory and it has everybody's emails and phone numbers in it. So I actually go through that and write thank you cards to people in there. And the feedback that I get is so awesome. It makes me feel so good. How can I be sad when I get like 10 notes saying thank you so much for thinking of me? That just like makes my day. Also, like, if you don't do Christmas cards, you should start. You need to call your mom, call a family member, and get all the addresses you can and just start sending cute cards to people. I'm not talking about oils here. I'm talking about ways that you can get yourself out of your funk. You don't have to talk to them about oils. You can just say, I hope you're having a good day. I miss you. That's easy. So I know that when I'm depressed, I got into a victim mentality, and it's really the only thing that I could think about was just how poor me. I'm so sad. I'm so depressed. I'm so lonely. No one likes me. Everybody hates me. I'm the worst leader. No one wants my essential oils. All those things. Like, my husband is horrible. My kids are horrible. I just like can't get out of my head. And it's all a victim mentality. And I am not a victim. I have absolutely no reason to be this way. So I had actually, my husband called me out on it and was like, Anne, you're really like playing a victim right now. And I was able to like get out of bed and say, you're right. I really am. And I don't want to do that. We're adults here. So no matter how hard it is, we have to make a choice. I am going to get out of bed today and I'm going to work for 10 minutes, or I'm going to write 10 cards to people. It's really important. So the next thing that you need to do when you're working with depression and trying to also keep your business going, something that I didn't mention earlier is that you can't just stop social media. Like, just because you're depressed, if you take a month and you don't do Facebook posts, you lose everything. You lose, for me, it's years of working to build an online presence. Years, 10 years, 12 years, way before Facebook. When I was just doing a blog, I used to like make my own web page with like HTML. I mean, like, that's where it started. So if you're depressed and all of a sudden you're not doing any Facebook posts, you're not doing any sort of Pinterest or Instagram, you lose, like, Facebook, the way that it works. Like, those people won't see your posts anymore. You have to like start all over to build your following. It's not worth it. Make your Facebook posts. I know that was out of order, but I forgot to say that. Okay, so the next thing that you need to be doing, and this is part of your job, you need to be using your oils. When I first had my baby, I started using Progessence Plus right away because I just knew with my family history that I was going to have postpartum depression. It just like happens. I just knew. So I wanted to be really proactive. And after he was about 6 months old, I got lazy and I stopped taking it because I just was like, I'm fine. I don't need to spend my money on this every month. And all of a sudden, here comes my postpartum depression. And I don't know if you're like me, but when you're in a really depressed state, you can't get out of it and you don't want to take care of yourself. So even though you need to take care of yourself the most, you're the last person that you take care of. So I wasn't taking my supplements. I wasn't taking my Progessence Plus. I wasn't diffusing. I really wasn't using oils at all because I was just like laying in bed like a lump. It's ridiculous. So that is part of your job, using essential oils. You need to like put that in your head, like ingrain it on your brain. Using essential oils is your job. It's just like a photographer not taking pictures. That's not, you can't do your job. So I want to show you like my regimen for depression. Obviously, Progestins Plus, I'll never stop taking this again. Before I had Jack, I took it once a day. And so I do feel like eventually I'll get back down to just taking it once a day. But right now I take it twice. I put it on my forearms, on the back of my neck, twice a day, always, every day. I do not miss it. I do not miss it. I'm extremely consistent with it now for about 2 months. And guess what? For 2 months, my husband and I have not fought during my period. And I feel like balanced. I feel like myself again. It's ridiculous. I also started taking Cortistop. If you look at the ingredients, there's a lot of ingredients in here that balance our hormones and help with stress. So I've been taking that consistently 2 times a day. And you actually, the way that it works, you take it for 8 weeks and then you discontinue use for 2 to 4 weeks. So I already, I'm almost done with my first bottle. I have my second bottle ready. Then I'll take a break and then I'm going to start again because it's literally like when I started doing this consistently, everything was better. That's just me though. You need to figure out what works best for you. The other thing that I do is I take the weight loss trio. This is a really cool tip. I just dump the grapefruit, peppermint, and lemon in this bottle, and then I swirl it around and I fill up my capsules that way. So it's super easy, super fast. This, it's everything. The grapefruit, there's just something in it. I mean, it's just the grapefruit that like makes me so happy. I can't live without it. Grapefruit, when people ask what my favorite oil is, that's what I say because it makes me so happy. So that is my regimen. And this is a time if you're struggling with depression that you need to figure out your regimen. There's a ton of oils for mood and depression. Are you kidding me right now? Go on Google. Just Google essential oils for depression. There's gonna be like 8,000 that come up. You have your EOPR. It is your job to figure out what works for you. So you need to figure out and learn what you need. That is your job when you are going through depression. That's your job so that you can build your testimony, you can build your story. So when you share like, oh my gosh, works for me. This is amazing. I can't live without this. And they're like, oh my gosh, I need it too. And once they find out what works best for them that they cannot live out without, they will be your customer for life. This is so important. It's ridiculous. I'm very passionate about this because if you're selling essential oils, but you're not using them, that doesn't work. Okay. #nope. Okay. The next thing, you need to really not isolate. I know that it's easier said than done, of course. But for me, on my really bad days, I was able to check in with a group on Facebook, not publicly, but like with some really good special friends that I have formed. And I was able to say like, guys, I can't get out of bed. I'm like going to go insane here and I need you. And they were able to encourage me and like send me such encouraging gifts that just like really meant so much to me. And their friendship was everything. And so even though like it's easy to say don't isolate, and it's easy to lay in your bed, but with social media, that's a really easy way for you to reach out to people. I also had friends that like came over and they're like, Anne, we're taking you for a walk. And like, they didn't give me the option. And so we went for a walk for 30 minutes and I did feel better. Just having those people just force me to, I mean, like they would message me. I'm like, I'm having a bad day. I can't go for a run today. And they would come over and be like, we're running. You can go for a run. And that felt so good. So, I know that isolating is like what you want to do so bad, but it is so bad to do. We are made to be in relationship as humans. We don't have to have 5,000 friends. If you have one friend that you can reach out to when you are having a bad day to say, hey, I need some positive thoughts. I need some prayers. Will you go out for coffee with me? You've got to get out of the house. You've got to get dressed. You've got to take a shower. That's so important. Your team should not have to reach out to you constantly just asking if you're okay. I have like 3 girls on my team that they're like really active in the group, and then all of a sudden they're quiet. And I know that they're struggling with depression again. And I have to go in and say, are you okay? When I'm actually struggling with depression myself. You know what I mean? I'm right there with you, but I have to be the one that's like, are you okay? Blah, blah. You need to reach out. Don't make your team constantly reach out to you. And don't go silent. This is your job. There's no other job in the world that you can just not do your job. You still have to do your job. Even if your job is just using oils. Today, my job, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to put oils on. That's my job today. This is kind of a good opportunity for you to start a blog. I actually started a blog when my 11-year-old was a baby. My marriage was in an extremely horrible place. Extremely. So bad. It's a complete miracle that we are still married. It's amazing. And he is a great husband now. But I started a blog. That was like my first like real social media experience. It was extremely basic. It was just black with white typing, and it was extremely depressed. So it was just like my journal. I used it as a journal, and every time we fought, I would just express my emotions, and I never like advertised my blog. It was totally just an outlet for me, but I actually ended up getting a lot of followers because everyone wants to watch a train wreck. But I also made some really awesome friends that I'm still friends with, and it's because I was relatable. So I used that, and after a couple of years, I changed it because I realized my whole mode was very depressed and I wanted to get out of that. And so I made it more of a happy blog, more about meals and family. And it just showed the shift in my life because I did change. And, but the whole point was that I posted my journey. I posted on days that I was grateful and having gratitude. That was just a good time for me, having that journaling and having those people like help me through that and gaining those friendships. That was huge. So don't lay around and cry and victimize yourself. That definitely makes things worse. This is time for you to adult. You still got to get up, take a shower, make your bed. Then you can lay down again. Okay, so the next thing that you need to focus on is personal development. I get it. I get that your depression is real, and I get that it is struggling. You're struggling. Some things that you can do during that time is work on yourself. Personal development. I completely changed my life. When I first was dealing with depression years and years ago, I was 200 pounds. I was sad all the time. I actually completely changed my life and lost 60 pounds and became more positive, became more grateful, really stopped making excuses for myself because I just realized that I can do anything, but I have to do it. You have to do the work. So personal development you can start with audiobooks. You can go to the library, check out a book. That is huge for me. Audible is like my best friend. I use it as a business write-off because it's a monthly fee, but it's huge for me. I put my earbuds in and I go for a walk, and that's like 2-in-1 for helping my mood. A couple of books that really help me. The first one is Carry On Warrior. It's literally amazing. It's like laughing and crying all at once. I'm like running down the street, laughing and crying. It was awesome. Loved that book. I just finished You're a Badass. I know, like, if you aren't really a fan of swearing, which I'm not actually, I'm pretty PG, G-rated, but that book was so good. It's, oh my gosh, really, like, it means you can do everything. You got to stop making excuses. Like, you are a badass. That was, like, you are. Like, so I really recommend that book. For if you are like in a funk and you need someone to kick you in the butt to get you going, read that. The Fringe Hours was another one that I bawled while I was listening to it. I bawled because I just wasn't doing anything for me. At all. I know you guys get it. Loved that book. Okay. So Audible books and reading and personal development, journaling, those are things that you can do. This is a hard time, but you can spend 10 minutes a day doing something good for you that to make yourself a better person. The last thing I want to talk about is just giving yourself some grace and time. This passes. Yeah, I was in a year-long depression, but I can look back now and say, oh my gosh, I made it through. And 10 years ago when I went through the same thing, I can look back at that time and I made it. You can have grace on yourself. You can say, today, all I'm going to do is wake up, do 10 minutes of work, and then I'm going to go back to bed. And that's okay. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a little bit more. That is the thing. You just have to keep going. Waking up, that's what you did today, then good for you. I'm proud of you. Find a friend for some accountability, but give yourself some grace and give yourself some time. And remember that this will pass. This is just part of life and you will get through it. You will, but you have to be intentional. Okay, guys, so that is all. I am available for questions or comments. I love that. Go ahead and just answer or post in the comments if you have anything you wanted to talk about. I'm sure I missed something and I'm still figuring this out too, but this is my heart and this is what I wanted to share with you guys. And I just hope you're having a great day.